Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the new summary field feature which will be made available in the Modern Work Center. Oftentimes, business application owners want to have a customized task inbox created for their end users where they can include application context data. Traditionally, in most low-code products, including such functionality would have incurred a lot of development work as practically one of the consultants or partner would have to write the whole functionality from scratch as the queries to fetch custom application data would change from application to application. AgilePoint NX provides a seamless solution for this problem. The AgilePoint NX dashboard already had an extension mechanism where you can include custom columns which were shown in the Classic Work Center, which our customers have been using for last few years. However, Classic Work Center being grid-based view, this could become difficult to manage if you had each application add its own custom columns. With Modern Work Center, we are taking it a level higher where you can expose the app specific data on card layout without having to worry about how it affects card layouts of other task cards. This is also very good for performance as we fetch only the data for the card which you want to see the data for. So let's look at this in action. Now before I show you the configuration, I'm going to go to settings. This is typically accessed by the tenant administrator. I'm going to app builder, process designer. You're going to see a new property over here called maximum number of summary fields allowed. So by default, we limit it to 4. You can increase it to 5 or 6, but we would recommend keeping it down to 4. So now with that, I've set it to 4, which is the default. I'm going to go to app builder. I'm going to select my app, the following app. Now what we have done is we have exposed a new menu option over here called summary fields. Brings up a dialog. Now over here you can add fields which you want to expose in your work center as summary fields and map it to the corresponding data. So as you can see, I have already added 3 of these. I can add up to 4. So the plus button, I can add a new row, which I'm going to do in a minute, and I can then map it to my data elements. Now there are few things to note about this. Summary fields display as soon as they are saved. No publishing of the app is required. So this is live changes. So once you're making it, we wanted to make sure you don't have to unnecessarily publish an app just because you wanted to show a new summary field. So this is done in a way that any changes you do is visible across all versions. Summary fields can only display simple data types such as strings, numbers, dates. You cannot put repeating or hierarchical controls in here, like fields from a subform cannot be put in the summary field. Summary field do not display in Classic Work Center. Classic Work Center had its own mechanism of custom columns. You can use it. Summary field is something specific to Modern Work Center. And one thing to remember is summary fields, you should not put any sensitive information in there. This is going to show in the summary for the task participants and the people who have access to that process instance. So you should put generic information mainly over here. Okay, so right now you see I have 3 fields over here. I'm going to open Work Center. And I'm going to create a new instance of this application. Now, here is my form. I'm going to attach an Excel sheet to it and it will parse the data out of that Excel sheet and pre-populate my form. So as you can see, it parsed the data out, pre-populated it. The attachment itself is uploaded to OneDrive. And I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. Now, if I go back to my inbox, if I go to processes, you can see that for rest of the task process cards, there's no arrow over here. That means there is no summary field. But for this one, you can see there is an arrow which is available. That means there are some summary fields available. And what I can do is I can just click on expand and it shows me value from those 3 summary fields. Now, if text of one of those is overflowing, we will show a dot 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 and you can hover over it and still see that here is the full ID. So you can see right now there are 3 of these which are visible on the process card. If I go to the task card over here, pretty similar thing. If you see rest of the task cards, they don't have an arrow. Only these two have an arrow because they belong to that application. I'm going to expand it and it shows me application specific data for that particular task. So this way performance also is good and I can always expand and collapse. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my app builder. I'm going to go to summary field and I'm going to make a live change over here. And I'm going to map it to one of the elements over here, data elements, and click OK. Now, as I said, this is a live change. I don't have to publish it. I'm going to just go ahead and click refresh. Now, if I expand my task card, you see now the fourth field starts showing up. So it is live changes which you are doing. You don't have to publish the application. So it works nicely in the task card view, has good performance. But what about the grid view? Now, the challenge with the grid view was because grid view is going to show you tasks belonging to multiple process models. And if you started adding columns for each of the process models, then it would have become a maintenance nightmare because you might end up with two columns for each process model, then you would end up with 20, 30 across 10 process models. So the approach we took is if you click on this dot 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 thing over here for more menu options, go to task detail, you can see the summary fields exposed in the task detail section. So you don't have to open the form, you can see the summary fields right over here. So with this, now you can see application context data, which is important to you without opening the task form. You can see that data right within your work center. Thanks a lot for your time.